All right. So thank you guys so much for joining us tonight and giving this a shot to see what this looks like and have some fun with each other. And we're really happy to provide this opportunity for you guys to get together and to also have a chance to visit with Coach Squires and maybe Coach Sartorius as well. So that's really fun. Just FYI, we are recording this event, and once we get started, you can mute yourself, but feel free to unmute and ask questions, and also use the chat for anything that might come up as well. I want to introduce a couple people from our team. I'm Trish Damberg, and I'm with the Alumni Association, and I remember watching a whole lot of you play, so this is a lot of fun for me. I also have Shauna Hill and Tony Myers from our team, Darla Hagen, Lucas Dart, and y'all know Rich.
Y'all know me.
All right. So we're going to keep this to about 50 minutes or so tonight. And so we're going to jump right in. It is my pleasure to introduce the one and only, the voice you all know and all want to have say your name again, Rich Broderson.
Hey, everybody. How you doing? I don't know. Jenny, I never announced you, did I? I mean, when did you graduate?
I'm old. I think in 1990.
That was my first year, the fall of 90.
Well, that was fun.
Yes, it was. That was the first time. Hi, Aaron. Welcome aboard. No, that was the first year. The fall of 90 was the first year in the Health and Sports Center when we moved UNK volleyball from Cushing over there. I took over the reins of PA from the legend Don Briggs, and was granted that ever since. And here I am, 31 years later, still doing UNK volleyball. Squires won't let me leave. He says if I leave, he's going to tackle me or something. I don't know what's going to happen. But this is cool to see you. You know, we're trying to get this Zoom stuff off the ground a little bit. Obviously, we like to do this in person, but obviously this is the best way to do it because of our circumstances in our world with COVID-19. And we've done this with a couple other sports teams. And so we're just trying to get out there and keep engaged with the people that made UNK volleyball, from the coaches to the players and to the support staff. And it's a family affair all the way around. And I'm glad you're here. Obviously, I've been around it for quite some time. I actually announced for Rosella when she was a coach. I announced when Patty was a coach, and I've been announcing since Rick's been a coach. So I've seen UNK volleyball develop over a few decades. And so I'm glad. Patty, are you still in the Minden area, or where are you at now?
No, we still live in Minden, and luckily both of our girls are married and live in town too. So I guess there's no reason to leave now.
So you took your coaching duties and now you're moving over to being grandma. And
yep, full-time retired and grandma.
Well, there you go.
Not bad. It doesn't pay so well, but it's not bad.
Yeah. The one thing about UNK coaches, Hastings College fears us because we take coaches from Hastings College and they come over here. So we hit Patty over from Hastings College, and Rick came over from Hastings College. So we were pretty happy.
And now you got Carrie too.
And now we got Carrie, and who got had a great run.
Yeah, she sure did.
Runner up in the regional last night. So it's good to see you. But it's good to see all your faces. We're hoping the big thing to come out of this is we want have Coach Squires kind of talk about how the season's going, since we're in a spring season. It's an abnormal year. And I think a lot of people would like to know, how are they doing with that and how they're getting through this. And then also, what our future kind of holds, and also trying to hear some stories from you folks a little bit as well. I guess to make this sure this stays within 50 minutes, I'm going to kind of wrap up my little introduction and kind of turn it over to Rick. But the big goal is here, this is just trying to get off the ground. When you know next time when we're trying to do this, hopefully you can get the word out there that this is what we're trying to accomplish, is trying to bring you all together, and you can see your teammates. You can see the players from yesteryear and to now, and also into the future, hopefully. So, because we want you to be advocates and look for the next Loper volleyball player that we can get to come play for UNK. So with that, introduction, Mr. Squires. I guess I do have a little script here for you. The 22 seasons. That's pretty amazing, Coach. At UNK, he is the third head coach in school history. Obviously, Patty is the second head coach. And Rosella, God bless her soul, passed away on it. And we see Bill once in a while, and he represents the Meyer family. In 20 years, Coach Squires has led UNK to 2 national runner-up finishes, obviously in 2005 and back in 2019. 21 tournament appearances, 4 Elite 8 appearances, 16 Rocky Mountain Athletic Conference Mid-American Intercollegiate Athletic Association regular season crowns, 11 RMAC MIAA tournament titles, and a 375 wins, 20 loss home mark. I really think that's because of the PA announcer, because there's 7 people out there. No one laughed at that. Thank you. That includes 2 winning streaks and 66 matches in a row, both among the longest NCAA Division II history. Squires, 11-time RMAC MIAA Coach of the Year, 675 wins, 89 losses in his UNK tenure. Good for a winning percentage of 88%. Pretty amazing. UNK boasts 2 ABCA Division II National Player of the Years. That's obviously Aaron Gummanson in 2005 and Annie Wolf in 2016. Many All-Americans, all conference and academic All-Americans. And it's just been a great ride. And it's not just all about the coaches. It's about the athletes who set the ball, who pass the ball, who block the ball, and get those W's. So with that, I'm sending it to the man in his office at Health and Sports Center 101, Dr. Rick Squires. Hi, Rick.
How's everybody doing? Good to see you. It really is good to see everybody. Patty probably recognizes the view here.
I do. You haven't cleaned the curtains.
No, not one single. I haven't even opened them. But one thing I did learn is that one way to be successful is just step in behind Patty, and things are pretty well situated for you to get off to a good start. So I was able to do that twice, and now I'm waiting for the retirement gig to fall my way. So Patty, I'm ready whenever you got a good gig for me set up.
Okay. All right. I'll keep you in mind.
Really is good to see everyone. It's been, when I came over here, you kind of think of things like this is going to be your dream job and all that. And for the most part, that's really been true. I mean, we were able to recruit really high level student athletes to come to school here and work hard and maintain the tradition. And so it's been fun to be a part of that. It's gone really fast. Countless memories from all of the people right here on the screen and a lot of others, obviously. And then, then there's this year, which has been really challenging in a lot of different ways when we didn't know for sure if we were going to get to play at all. And our season was kind of blown up, in the first week of August when the NCAA let out a tweet that, there was going to be no championship. So it's been hard. It's been hard for the student athletes. It's been hard for me. And the fact that we got to play this spring has been helpful in some ways. And we definitely have had a little more pep in our step the last few weeks that we've been playing. But it's still kind of come with some challenges because it's still not quite the same. And we got a few players out, and, we have seniors who some aren't probably going to come back, even though they could play another year. And so it's a lot of good things and challenging things mixed together. But it's still enjoyable to get down there on the court every day and practice and compete. And, so far we've had a pretty successful spring. We've played some good competition. We lost to a couple of good teams. One we probably shouldn't have. We blew a 10-3 lead and a 13-9 lead in the fifth to lose one. Not that that sticks with me or anything, but But we lost one we shouldn't have. Then we lost to a good team that probably was better than us. And then, we've gotten a couple of pretty good wins too. We got a win over Northwest Missouri State the other night, who has a really good team and I thought would really be a challenge for us. And so we're playing some younger players and some veterans kind of mixed together, and they're doing all the things that we could ask them to do. They're carrying the torch. They're representing the blue and gold and carrying the tradition. And you'd all be proud of them for how hard they play. And everybody who's ever played here, I think, has contributed something. And the players who play right now don't even know all of those players, but they still, I think, receive some of the benefits of all the effort and time and energy that all of you put in when you were playing here. So I think that's the definition of tradition. And we got a handful of games left, and hopefully we'll keep playing well and trying to dodge the COVID virus and all those things. We've had a few cases where we've had to have a player out here and there, but never more than one or two at a time. So we've been able to put a pretty good group out there, and hopefully we'll be able to keep doing that. So we look forward to trying to do something this spring that we can feel good about, and then hopefully by fall trying to do something back to normal.
When you say fall, I mean, it's just like everything's hopefully traditionally everything starts with the preseason, second week of August, get the floor down and go, right?
Yeah, I mean, at this point, everybody is scheduling like we're going to have a normal season. I think we need to do that. I think it's been really hard on the student athletes to do what we've done up to this point, and not saying we should or shouldn't have done some of those things. I think everybody was learning along the way, but it's been hard, and there's been, players who have really struggled with it and are continuing to struggle with it. So I think, the quicker we can at least continue to make progress toward hopefully a normal type of season in August, the better everybody's going to feel about it. But, that's kind of what everybody's dealing with. So we're not the only one.
Gotcha. Now I look across the screen, it's pretty amazing. I'd like to, just to point out, Jenny is in the UNK Athletic Hall of Fame. Kim Peltz, who's not showing her video, but she's in the Hall of Fame. There's Amy Anderson Winstrom. She's in the Hall of Fame. A lot of good volleyball players, through the time, right? Coach Sartorius. I mean, it was some very good talent that played on the UNK hardwood.
Oh, absolutely. I remember when I first started coaching at Hastings College, and I was young and stupid and didn't know any better, but the way I learned how to coach and what to coach was from watching film from back then it was Kearney State. So, that's kind of where I got my start and what I molded my offense and defense after. And so, I think that was the go-to back then. Rosella was a staple, she was in it for years and obviously realized a bunch of success. So you got to have a good foundation to build what UNK has built. And that's where it started.
Absolutely. Well, our next form of our little program here is called Q&A. And this is where you can ask any questions you might have, or if you just want to put it on the chat function, you can as well. And don't forget, yes, I know I wasn't forgetting Aaron Arnold K as a Hall of Famer as well. Hi, Aaron, up there. Yeah, shake your head. Brosy and company. So I have a couple predetermined questions that have came in, and I'll look at the chat function here, or look at that, or someone can chat up on that. But Coach Squires, you ready for these hard hitting questions? And if you do have a question, does anyone have a question right now that they just want to ask him before I even open up the microphone here?
He's just worried about Rachel's questions coming.
Oh, is that what it is?
I'm always worried about Rachel.
Oh, man. Hey, Coach, what impact will the extension of eligibility from COVID have on recruiting? And how many players are returning for an additional season come fall? This is from our head of our alumni association, Trish Danver.
Yeah, I mean, it's really tricky. The NCAA is going to allow schools to go over their limit for 1 year. So if you have seniors that want to come back and play an additional season, whatever scholarship they're on, assuming your school can afford to continue to pay it, is not going to count toward the NCAA limit. Now, that said, we have 5 seniors. I know of 3 that are probably not coming back. There's a couple. I know of one that probably is, and then there's one that's kind of on the fence. And I think that's been difficult for them. I don't think there's a right or wrong answer there, depending on your circumstances. Where this probably impacts recruiting the most is in the class of 2022, which are the juniors right now. Most of our 2021 recruits were already committed, and they ended up signing in the fall. And so that class really was not all that impacted, and we feel like we have a good 2021 class. But the 22 class is the one that you don't know for sure either if your juniors are planning to come back for an extra year, and whether that's going to free up scholarship dollars, because now you have to be back under your limit 2 years from now. So there's a lot of limbo in there. If I was in the class of 2022 as a student athlete right now, it would be a tough time for most of them, especially if they're kind of in that D2, low D1 range. D1's had a dead period for almost a year, so they haven't been able to technically recruit off campus. And so you're kind of trying to recruit, not knowing for sure what kind of scholarship resources you're going to have to work with. So I think right now we just have one offer out to a 2022, and it's a lot of wait and see. And, I think as the years go by, that will clean itself up a little bit. For the next couple of years, it's going to be just odd because everybody on the roster right now can play this year and it doesn't count. And so you have to kind of communicate with them through the process on whether or not they want to be here a 5th year or a 6th year or whatever it might be.
I got a little curveball here. This is for Amy and Jenny. If you've been back to UNK volleyball matches, we play in the horseshoe. We play at the end of the arena. We didn't play the long way. When we started at the Health and Sports Center, we played the lawn basketball floor. I think that's how you guys played. Just curious, one of you can speak up. I don't care. Would you have preferred to play in the horseshoe like we have done since 92, the fall of 92 or 93? What do you want to take that, or did you like the long way? You guys should both do.
You want to take this, Amy?
I wouldn't have a preference because the only way I played was the long way.
Yeah.
I mean, and it seemed like I wouldn't know any different.
I agree.
I tell you, it's really changed the atmosphere doing the horseshoe. That's why we keep it in the horseshoe, because it really brings a crowd into it. I mean, it's really pretty cool. I mean, I'm assuming you've seen how we play.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Cool. I was just curious to see what you guys.
Yeah. No, it's a good question.
That was Patty. Was that your doing, or was
Well,
that?
it wasn't my brainchild, but it was Brent Robinson who suggested it.
Mhm.
And, I just kind of went along with it. I thought, the more you could bring the crowd into it, the better the atmosphere. Do they still complain about how short the serving area is for the jump servers?
They can't complain anymore with the new bleacher setup, because
Okay.
Coach Squires and I made sure we were outside the limit, even on the sides. If we want,
Perfect.
but typical, what happens to us, we make the change, we get the space for the pursuit rule, we put that in, and then they take the pursuit rule out. So I was like, all right, coach, we got it ready to go. And then all of a sudden it's gone.
Yeah.
No more pursuit rule. So
It'll be back probably.
all right, coach, here's another big question for you. Do you still wear your sweater vest for big games?
I could only wish that I still had that sweater vest. I look through
Just
my
one?
closet all the time. If I could find another sweater vest, I would wear it.
Really?
I hear I have a 15-year-old daughter, and she says sweater vests are coming back. She
Watch
told-
out, you might be getting some packages in the mail and we'll see if you really abide by what you say.
I mean, when she told me sweater vests were coming back, I got pretty excited about that. I mean, you give me a nice blue sweater vest and a t-shirt underneath, I'm good.
Here's one from Roars, coach. You ready?
Yeah.
Well, it's a good one. It's a good one. She wants to know how your style of coaching has changed over the years.
Well, I think I'm probably no different than a lot of longtime coaches. All of the people that played for me several years ago would say that I have gone soft. And probably to some degree that might be true. I think you evolve, and I think the student athletes, even though they're mostly the same, times are still a little bit different. And so I think you kind of try to adapt to, what the student athlete of this time can respond to or handle, or hell, maybe I'm just tired now and I don't yell as much. I don't know, but I think if you don't learn something along the way in 30 years, then you're probably not doing your job. So, there's plenty of things, and I'm sure any coach will tell you this over a period of time. There's all kinds of things you look back on and say, man, I was an idiot. And so I still do that. I think that's just part of growing and getting better. So I do every now and then think back to some of the things I might have said or thought or done, and kind of shake my head and go, well, I guess we all make some mistakes and we try to learn from them. But no question, I'm sure that anyone who played for me, maybe during my first 5 years here for sure, would say I am way too easy on these players.
So what's this deal about a 7-mile run to start 2-a-days?
Well, we used to have to run a 7-minute mile on the first day that we reported. But that was kind of, the way things were. You had all kinds of stuff like that. I'm sure Patty had things like that, physical standards, but we didn't have as much access to strength training and programs and things like that either. And so, you're just kind of winging it and trying to scare everybody to being in a little bit of shape when they rolled in here in the fall. And the best thing I could come up with that would at least keep people moving around a little bit in the summer was to make them run the mile under 7 minutes, or they had to do supplemental conditioning. That actually sounds like a good idea still.
Oh, well, there you go. Did you guys have to do that, Amy, back in in the late 80s, 90s?
I believe we would have to do suicides. That is what I remember us doing and had to make in times. You had to do so many suicides in an amount of time. That was one of them. It was a lot.
Oh, well, times have changed. I tell you. Coach, what was the question I just saw pop up? I was going to ask you. Well, hi, Pam Vokalek. She played from 1986 to 1988 for Coach Meyer.
Yeah.
Lives in Cedar Falls, Iowa. Well, welcome aboard.
Hello, everybody.
Glad to have you here. All right, where was that one question I just saw? I can't find it. So I got one written down. So coach, what is it like coaching your daughters? How many years do you have left until retirement? And do you miss the RMAC conference? That is from the one and only Sarah Glidden Mossman.
Well, I mean, coaching my daughters is the word that always comes up first in my mind is complicated. More so than I probably was prepared for. And so I had an older daughter that played here as a backup setter, Jordan, and that was kind of the first time really dealing with it. And so there was definitely a learning curve in just dealing with it. I mean, it wasn't as simple as just you're just another player. There were just more complications to it. And so the second time around, I was probably a little more aware of some of those things. But even the two that are playing right now are really different personalities. And so, you know, like every player, it's still, you know, it's kind of one of those things that you try to figure out over the course of somebody's career here, how to best coach them. And I think it works best if they're either playing a lot and clearly should be playing, or they don't play a lot and maybe shouldn't be playing a lot. If they're kind of in that in-between range, that's probably where it becomes a lot more difficult. And not that there maybe weren't some times where that might have been the case with the three that played here, but for the most part, they were kind of in one of those categories or the other, which made it at least a little bit simpler in terms of playing time. But it's still, you know, it's complicated. I mean, they can get angry at you for some reason. You can get angry at them for some reason that's related to volleyball. There can be some tension there and some conflict. And then you try not to let that bleed over into your normal life, but you're still a human being. And then maybe their mom gets angry with you for something you said to one of them, or, you know, it's just, it's all good, but it's complicated. And what else was there on that one? Oh, how long am I going to do this? I don't know. I said until Patty finds me a good retirement gig, but I mean, there's no question, and you know, Coach Bauer could attest to this too, because he did this for a long time here. It's a grind to coach in the RMAC, you know, where you're traveling like we used to. The MIAA is only a little bit better in that regard. And I think the other thing that I've noticed over time is just that there's so many more good players, which results in so many more good teams. So probably there was a period of time when UNK kind of had the run of the state, you know, after Nebraska. You know, we could get almost anybody we wanted to get from the state of Nebraska. I mean, we'd run into UNO every once in a while. Creighton wasn't what they used to, or what they are now. And so we were in a position where we had significantly greater talent a lot of times that we played. And the last 5 to 10 years, that has just not been the case. We've had good enough talent, obviously, but we don't just roll in with players who are just more physically gifted than everybody we play against. So I think the grind of all those things, to do it a long time, it certainly wears on you. But on the other hand, I'm not sure. There still is a part of me that enjoys the competition and the coaching, but you do get to a point after a long period of time where you at least have to think about those things. So, I'm going 1 year at a time, and I'm planning to hopefully have a good group this coming fall, and we'll let everything happen how it happens.
This next question, Mark might have to chirp in on this a little bit, is someone asked, is there ever in the crystal ball in the future for a men's volleyball program? What do you think, Coach?
Me? I think we would probably look at maybe beach volleyball before men's, but I'm for any kind of volleyball. There are, a handful of men's programs in the Midwest, and I think they play in the spring. I think it's a great game. I think it's entertaining. I think the game is still growing. That is another thing that, when you've done this as long as I have now, you've seen just this tremendous growth. It used to just be pockets of volleyball, and Nebraska was always a pocket for sure, a hotbed. And now it's pretty much national. I mean, everybody's playing some pretty good volleyball. And so I think there will continue to be growth. And I think beach volleyball is something that, is starting to show up on more and more campuses. And in the Midwest, it's tougher. You probably got to have some method of getting indoors for part of it. But Wayne State has a beach team now, and there's a few others in bordering states. And so, that would be something. It sounds like on our campus, there's some construction in the near future that might include some outdoor sand courts, and would love to see that eventually become a beach program for sure.
Just to play off that, just to go along with with recruiting, it's getting tougher, obviously. Because of, it's become pretty equal across the board. What do you see where you need, what does the program need to kind of differentiate yourself to still be the premier place to come play?
Well, I mean, that's another area where, over the course of 20 years, almost everybody now invests in volleyball. So now there's probably still some programs that we play against that aren't fully funded. They don't have the limit of 8 scholarships, but in our conference, I'm not aware of anybody that doesn't have a fully funded scholarship set up for volleyball. So that's kind of the first thing really for any sport is you have to be able to go toe to toe from a scholarship standpoint with the teams you're competing against. And in Division II, there's not a lot of wiggle room anyway, because even if you do, you only have 8. And so that only goes so far. But quite honestly, and we talked about this earlier, Rich, I mean, we have a very generous donor who basically covers one of them for us every year. And that helps us kind of get from 7 to 8. So in the grand scheme of things, that's always the first step. We've always had since I've been here, we've had a beautiful facility to play in. The court has been just even better than we could have imagined, having the Terraflex floor. So those of you that contributed and helped us, thank you so much. I mean, I thought it would be great, and it took all of about 1 day to realize it was even better than I thought. And it's been a really nice recruiting tool to be able to show pictures or bring people in on campus visits. And so that's been huge. Tradition is a big thing, to be able to sell a winning program and a great university like UNK and the support that we get. That gets us in the door. And we always kind of believe we need a lot of athletes on our roster that probably could have ended up on a Division I roster. And so that's the real battle for us, is trying to find at least a few Division I talented players who would choose to come here and maybe win a little bit more, or play a little bit earlier, or play in front of more people, as opposed to go to a mid-major or something like that. But, the mid-majors now, they have, stipends and all those sorts of things. And the Summit League didn't exist, at the beginning of this. So all the South Dakota and South Dakota State and all those people, Northern Colorado, they were Division II, and now they're Division I. So the state gets rated. And so every possible advantage that we can get, we need, because it's just getting harder to get the kind of players that can, help you go make a run at the national level. And so fortunately, our state has a lot of talent, and the bordering states are pretty good too. And we're able to get the kind of players that can help us do that. But it's definitely not as easy as maybe it was at, the first 5 years I was here, probably.
Okay. Well, we'll wrap it up some of the Q&A here, Coach. And I got really a hot question here that came to us, and it's a doozy, and we want to know who you think it came from. The question is, what's the worst punishment you have given a team for crossing the line? Did you ever feel bad afterwards, or did you just laugh at home about it later?
Well, for the person that asked this, I laughed at home if I ever made them do anything difficult, because they probably deserved it. No, I think there's a story out there that there was a road trip that maybe didn't go as well, not so much from the competitive standpoint, but maybe we had some players who weren't functioning as a unit quite as well as I thought they should. I think it actually came down to two vans. We had two vans, and they ended up being like enemies of one another. And so we got back, and in the Health and Sports Center, some of you know what a victory lap is. You run up and down the stadium steps on the blue side, and then you go all the way around to the other side, and you run up and down the end zone stadium steps, and we call that a victory lap. So now I think this is where it maybe is in dispute. My version is I made them run a victory lap for every letter in the word team, TEAM. That's 4 victory laps. They say that I made them run one for every letter in the word teamwork, which would be twice as many. I think that was my threat, but I think we actually only ran the 4, but there's probably some dispute over that. And no, I didn't feel bad about that, actually.
I think I was busy having an asthma attack, so I just tried to keep breathing.
What do you think it gave that question, Coach?
Who did I think?
Yeah.
Well, I would say Rachel, but I'm not sure it was Rachel. Now,
Oh,
Ariel?
I am much more professional than that, Coach Squires. Come on now.
Jeez.
I was thankful for my stress fracture at that point.
I was gonna say, I don't think I was around during that. But Shelby does have a question. I'm texting all of them right now.
Uh-oh.
Oh,
She wants to know if anyone beat her record for the most time suspended.
No, not even close.
is that Workman?
Yes.
Okay.
I think that came from the top. That was happened all above my head. I needed her to play.
Patty, were you ever strict?
Well, you're telling stories, so I'll tell a quick one. It backfired on me, of course, but we were at Adams State and playing horribly. And, I give the threat in the timeout, if we don't clean this up, we're going to practice when we get home. So anyone that's traveled that, after playing an 8 o'clock Mountain Time game, you get home about 2 or 3 in the morning. So I was good on my threat, and we practiced when we got home. And then I think they all proceeded to one of the players' house and had a big old party till about 7 o'clock in the morning. So kind of backfired, but I don't know. Was I strict? I didn't try to be, but sometimes you have to be. But, I think as you get older, you loosen up a little bit.
Yeah.
But your expectations are still high.
Pam Vokalek, Jenny Luke. What about Rosella? Did she ever crack the whip? Anybody? You're muted. Oh.
There's same thing. There's a bunch of them talking on the phone right now, and there's so many, like the van stories, the two vans. I mean, I can't tell you the number of stories of the two vans and who was in what van. And of course, that was before cell phones. So there was no communication between two vans. So whatever happened on the one van stayed in the one van. But Coach Meyer, Coach Meyer, one of the quotes I'll tell you about Coach Meyer, and this is one that has stuck with me for my whole life. And I manage people, and sometimes it holds true. And it's like, I'm not here to motivate you. That was her. She's like, you motivate yourself. I'm here to coach you, but you're here to motivate yourself. That's one that kind of stuck with me. She was kind of hardcore that way. But she was really about, she definitely held her own as far as just keeping us in line and always keeping us there was a very strict code with Coach Meyer.
That's good.
Yeah.
All right. I'm gonna wrap up Q&A. Is that okay? Unless anybody really has another question.
There's two quick questions,
All
maybe
right.
not quick, but in the chat. First one is, will we have an alumni tournament soon? And also, will you ever play in it? I'm guessing that's asking Coach Squires if he will play.
We will definitely have an alumni tournament soon. So I'm hoping by next spring we're good to go. So we will make sure that is on the calendar again. That's been a really fun thing to be a part of. I would play as a designated server as long as I don't have to actually come across the end line and play any kind of defense or anything else.
Okay, and the last question, with all the new housing developments that have been built on campus, do you now have more athletes living on campus?
Probably not. It's still probably a little bit less expensive, and I'm sure in their terms, they probably have a little bit more free reign to live off campus. There are a lot of houses nearby still that they're able to get into in groups of 3, 4, or 5. And so we've only had really 1 or 2 athletes stay on campus for probably past their freshman year. And so we've had a few, but not a lot. So I think that's probably kind of going to remain the same.
And Ariel passed on a message from Shelby saying to make sure you wear that pink shirt with your sweater vest on Think Pink Night.
If I could do that, I would definitely do that. That's probably one of my favorite outfits. So happy to do that anytime I can.
Oh, there's one more question. Will you have Rich Broderson back next fall?
I want Rich Broderson for every game, home and away. If we ever lose a game that you're not doing the PA, it's going to be your fault.
Yeah, it's probably because I'm watching my boys play.
I want Rich Broderson at my kids' softball games this summer.
There you go. Oh man. Well, hey, thank you for the Q&A, everybody. Really, really do. Like I said before I move it over to Mark here, this is just the beginning. Hopefully, we get more of your teammates to join us and get on here, and we'll have more dialogue and history and learn more about your guys' time as a Loper. Spildy trying to set them and then fakes you out with a kill, those type of things back in the day. But we'll hopefully be doing this more down the road. Obviously, we want to do a lot more of these in person too, especially with the alumni tournament and that. And no, I will not play, but I would be happy to announce the alumni event. That'd be great. So with that, joining us is the current athletic director. Mark, how long have you been in the spot now? Over a year?
Yeah, 2018, about April 22nd. So that's like, I don't know,
Golly,
200 some days. And no, I don't know.
Well, a lot of you know him as was the wrestling coach at UNK, but now he runs the ship. He's the head man for the UNK Athletic Tournament. Mark Bauer, ladies and gentlemen. Mark, welcome.
Thank you, Rich. I want to thank the Alumni Association, Lucas Dart, Trish Danberg, Rich Broderson, Tony Myers, Darla Hageman for hosting this. This is the second one of these I've gotten to do. One with volleyball, and we also met maybe back in June with the football players. And it's just great getting everybody together. Obviously, we wish it was in person. But circumstances are what they are. So real quick here, just want to talk a little bit about Coach Squires, if you don't mind. Coach Squires and I started the same year, 2019, 2020. We both started as head coaches at UNK, and I'm not gonna lie, Coach, I admire you for what you continue to do, because like you said, it is a grind, and all of you as athletes, student athletes, know exactly what we're talking about. And this is a pretty vicarious year this year, obviously asking seniors to come back for a 5th or 6th year, putting their lives potentially on hold. And so that's been really challenging in a lot of different ways. But let's see here. Trish, are you in charge of this? Is there any way you can give me, Pat, can you share the screen with me that I could put 4 pictures up? I just want to share 4 pictures. And the reason I want to share them is because my family, my kids, there are now grown children, grown adults now. They were children at the time. We're all born in the 90s. And so my kids, the highlight of UNK was not wrestling. It was UNK volleyball. It was all of you. And so they always wanted to go to the volleyball games. And of course, my 2 girls, they always wanted a ball just to cherish and put up in their room with all the signatures and the designs on them. And my boys wanted them because they wanted to throw them at each other. So they both wanted them for different reasons, but have a lot of great memories over the years with all of you playing. And I actually knew Patty before she went to Hastings. And so I feel like UNK, as far as I'm concerned, volleyball's been a big part of my life because it really infused my entire family, like many of yours families as well. So did you share that with me by chance?
That you should be able to share, I think.
Let's see here. Oh, you know what? They went off. I want to pull up 4 pictures. Let me pull them up here real quick again. I apologize for the delay. Hopefully this won't take me too long here. Some of the highlights that I always remembered was how involved the UNK wrestling team got in attending the games, and Coach Squires kind of playing into that a little bit, which was always rather fun for us. Many of you probably know Brett Haskell. She's now in Lincoln. Her brother, Kean McCurdy, wrestled for us. And so at one point, in order to support each other's teams, the athletic director at the time kind of started pairing our teams up. And for some reason, wrestling got paired up with volleyball. And some of the student athletes may remember that, may not, but they took it very serious. And so the pictures I would like to share with you, gosh, I hope I can.
Well, on the bottom of the screen, you see that share screen button?
Here we go. Here's the first one. I'm going to share this one with everybody. Hopefully, can you see that?
Not yet.
Oh, there we go.
Share.
Oh man, Little Caesars night.
That one? So this was one of the Hawaiian nights. I think it was Runza night or something, and everybody's supposed to dress up in Hawaiian garb. For some reason, I don't have the pictures coming up.
It came up.
I can't see them myself. Okay, I just can't see them myself. Here's one that was, I believe, on Halloween, if we can get this one coming up. A great crowd back then. Is that one up?
It's coming.
Come on.
Is that Bryce Abbey?
Yeah, it is. Dr. Abby's on the end there with the Oompa Oompa hair. And then I'll just share one more. And I'm going to tell you, this is kind of who egged all this on. Let's see here. And I think that one's sharing now, maybe. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, okay, hang on. Technically disadvantaged. Oh, here it is right here. Share. Here it is. Coach, this is for you.
Oh, boy. Look at that area.
Giving them plays, setting them up, making them feel like they're a part of the team. We really appreciated it because it made it a lot of fun for us. So I had to pull up some of those pictures to share with you because, again, UNK volleyball has meant a lot to our family, and it's always exciting. So, Coach, I appreciate you involving the team and in helping out in those aspects, because I know it really made the student athlete experience a lot more fun for them and the crowd, because we don't have quite that contingent with the wrestling program helping cheer on the wrestling or the volleyball team as they used to. But I've had people come to me saying, where are those crazy wrestlers at? So anyway, maybe we'll get them back to some of the games coming up soon. I want to share with all of you, again, I admire Coach Squires for all that he does, all that he continues to do, and the role model he is for all the young women that are a part of the program over the years, and the foundation, the tradition that all of you started that has continued to carry. And, somebody asked the question to Coach Squires about how he's changed over the years. And, when you've been there, you've done it. You're not quite as anxious sometimes, but at the same token, we're both very competitive. We want to win. And oftentimes that's kind of the advantage I have as the athletic director, and Patty can probably relate to this a little bit, is that every issue that we come across and have to deal with, I always look at things through the lens of a coach before I look at it through the lens of an administrator. And I really think that benefits our coaches in a lot of ways, because I'm always looking out for them and their programs and what they can do. Coaches have a job, and it's called position and protect. Position and protect. They want to position their program in a way that they can excel at a high level. They have the resources they need. They have the involvement from their fans, their alumni, and again, that's the power and beauty of doing things like this, so that we stay connected in a lot of different ways, but also protecting what they have, because it can be taken away from you in an instant. And as we found out this year with COVID and the challenges that we've had to deal with, it's been very difficult on a lot of levels. Coach Squires and I have had a lot of conversations since a little over a year ago when this all started. And we had about 2.5 months this summer where our coaches weren't even allowed to talk to our student athletes. And finally, the MIAA decided that part of the care of the accountable athletic related activities was that we could actually start having Zoom meetings with our coaches. And Coach, had you even been on Zoom very much before all of this started?
Never heard of it.
Never heard of it. And so it was new to all of them, and they got creative and they were meeting, and literally that's kind of all they had to do. So, at least we feel like we tried to get with our student athletes as much as we can early on. And then we kind of led the way in the conference, in the MIAA conference, where I believe it was June 6th, where our student athletes could start actually going through a screening process and going and lifting, and which was an amazing thing, again, because they hadn't been in the room or doing anything for quite some time. And so the conference actually ended up adopting a morning screening process. But before they did, they came to us and said, "What are you guys doing? Why, how are you able to do this?" And so we kind of helped lead the way a little bit. But I will tell you this, the individual that really has championed a lot of our initiative and drive to get our student athletes more engaged and working with them came from our chancellor and our cabinet. They realized early on that, we had a challenge in front of us, but at the same token, once we started learning more about COVID and who it was affecting and who it wasn't, I think that gave Chancellor Christensen a little comfort and giving us some leeway to start engaging with each other. And so we've been as protective as we possibly can and gone through mitigation plans for everything. So we feel very confident that we had the great leadership at UNK and somebody that was going to help us get through all of this. And we're to the point, and I think all of you realize now that the vaccinations are out and a lot of people have already had COVID, that we're kind of starting to see a light at the end of the tunnel. Our new president, Ted Carter, and Chancellor Christensen has announced that as of start of fall semester, we're hoping to be back to normal again. And if that normal is without a mask, I'm going to be so happy. So I think we're all tired of that. But at the same token, I understand that we still have to be sensitive and cognizant of other people and things that they're going through with their families. So other than that, I just want to thank everybody again for allowing me the opportunity to step in and listen and be a part of this evening, because this is exciting. It's great to always reminisce and tell stories. And I'm sure your memories of UNK or Kearney State College is something that obviously is going to be with you for a very long time. And as Rich Broderson said, if you know of a diamond in the rough out there that can handle Coach Squires and his intense workouts, definitely let him know, because I always have parents still to this day ask me, how do I get my kid noticed? And here's the thing, there's a million student athletes out there. There's just hundreds and thousands, and we don't know them all. And we don't know them unless somebody lets us know about them. I wasn't somebody that looked at recruiting services very heavily, because people pay exorbitant amounts of money on these recruiting companies to help place their child somewhere. And it doesn't really give me the true picture of somebody that's taking the initiative to reach out to us. And when I know somebody's reaching out to me, they're probably pretty interested. And if they've got the talent, we feel like they're a good fit for our program, obviously we would start the recruiting process with them. So again, if anybody knows of anybody, please send them our way. And Rich, just real quick to answer your question about sports, we have a huge initiative right now at UNK where we're trying to grow our enrollment. And, in order for students to be successful, they've got to be involved. And that's one of the things we feel very fortunate about with our student athletes, is the fact that they have a team they can be involved with. Their identity is the team and their sport and participating. And when they're not engaged in something that makes them feel like they're a part of something or have purpose, it's hard for them to stay connected. And so eventually, Rich, I would love to see for us to have the opportunity to add some sports eventually down the road. I don't know when that's going to happen, but it may. And if it does, I think we're going to continue to attract more student athletes. And I think that's going to be a great thing for UNK. So anyway, I'll leave you. I appreciate you let me have the opportunity to talk. Thank you.
Thank you, Mark. Yeah, a few people pop on here. There's Becky Miller O'Hare, and then all the way from Florida, Rebecca Golden. Hi, Rebecca. How are you? And then Erica.
I'm awesome. I'm sorry I was late. I had to put the kids to bed.
That's all right. That's all right. How's Florida? Nice and warm?
It is. It is. Already starting to grow my garden.
Quit it.
Yeah, but Squires, if I have any for you, I'll send them your way. I don't know if you guys know, but I'm the athletic director at our community college down here in Lake City, Florida. And we have volleyball, basketball, cross country, and we're looking to add esports. So Mark, that might be your next one, huh?
They've actually just joined a conference here at UNK just this last week. So we do have esports. I believe it's housed over in student affairs, but they are starting down that road. Just to make sure everybody understands, that's kind of a misnomer, but it is gaming. So, but a way to get students connected. So you are correct.
There you go.
It's an adventure. So we're building an arena right now.
Oh, wow. That's cool. Well, welcome, Rebecca. Glad to have you.
Thank you. I appreciate
Erica
that.
Brockmuller, all the way from Lexington, Nebraska, only 30 minutes away compared to Florida. Hi, Erica. Welcome.
Hi. Sorry, I was at urgent care with my littlest one. Thought we broke a hand this evening, so
no.
That's exciting.
Tribulations of life, I guess that's what you would say. With that, folks, I have one more speaker to talk, and that's I'm switching it over to. He's the vice president. Wow, I know how to talk. Yeah, vice president of alumni relations and development. And a lot of you probably know him. He's from the class of '97. It's Lucas Dart. Hi, boss. Welcome aboard, and take it away.
Well, I'll be brief, but it's fun to see all of you, and a number of you have come to some of our other alumni events, Omaha and Colorado Springs and other places. And I hope I see you at future events. We really look forward to doing this stuff face to face. I was actually on campus today with a friend of mine. My best friend lives in Bellevue, and his oldest daughter, my goddaughter, is going to be a freshman somewhere. And I really think it's going to be UNK, but I got a chance to really walk around campus today, and it just, continues to strike me how good we have it. I mean, we're very, very fortunate with the facilities we've been able to enhance, and, we're knocking down some buildings. Some people have some affinity to those things, but I don't think too many people are crying a river that Otto Olson's going to go away. It takes away from the effect of the Health and Sports Center, quite frankly, but that's the kind of stuff we're doing. It's just really, it makes me proud to be there and see it. And so if you're around the area, come take a look at it. I mean, there's just Discovery Hall and University Village and lots of things to see. And, it's been mentioned, COVID, it's a conversation point all the time. Our campus handled that so well. I mean, it just is, it strikes me when I talk to other students and faculty, other places, they're not doing the face-to-face thing that much. And we are. We've got people in offices. We've got still 70% of our classes almost are taking place face-to-face. We ought to be really proud of that. And it's positioned us well for students to have a good experience. So, you think about your role here and clearly you've elevated the volleyball program, you've elevated the athletic program, but you're the face of the institution. There's people who engage with UNK because of you. Doesn't matter when you played, and you've been really important to us. And those who follow they follow because you blazed the trail for them. And the coaches, Patty, great to see you. Rick, always good to see you. Thanks for doing this and joining us tonight, as well as the rest of you. But you can be a big advocate for UNK, the things you say about it, whether it's to that next recruit or just a student who's coming, your advocacy with our legislature in the state. If you have poll, everybody does, you vote for them or vote against them, but you got poll. We need your help that way. And then the financial support's important too, but it all helps the university. And when we have 55,000 alumni strong, that's big for our institution today and years forward. So thanks for taking time to join us. And, again, we're appreciative of what you do for the institution and look forward to seeing more of you at future events. And call your friends. That's funny. You guys have been calling and texting and so forth and getting questions. I think that's great. Invite them. They'll listen to you before they'll listen to me. So invite them and to have a bigger crowd next time. So thank you.
Absolutely. Diane, did you get a friend there or what?
Yeah, this is my youngest, James.
Hi, James.
I was asking about the men's program because I have two boys who are going to be like 6'4", I think. So I was just wondering if they could go to UNK someday.
We'll take them.
Yep, you got that right. I just got a text from Erin Hauserman, aka Gummonson, told me to tell everybody hi. She's sick, so she couldn't join us tonight. So she wanted to say hi to everybody. So, well, does anyone else have anything, any question or anything else? This is kind of wraps up tonight's program. Appreciate it.
Rich, this is Patty. I have one thing. Could you talk just a little bit about Dick Collins for a minute? Mm-hmm. And then are they establishing a scholarship, or how can people help with that?
Yep. So it's a pretty good timing, Patty. Good job. On cue. So we lost the man we all know, Dick Collins, who was the equipment manager at UNK for such a long time. And Dick succumbed to the COVID, and in doing so, the family established a memorial endowed scholarship in his name. That's going to help Mark to try to get a graduate assistant to help with the equipment and athletic program. And so we have memorial monies that came in, but we are getting ready. Be on the lookout. We'll be sending something out by email and also probably by mail, making a solicitation, a request, if people want to contribute to his memorial scholarship for, to establish that in his name and his honor for years to come. So we're pretty excited. We're pretty close to doing that. We're just getting the final details down on paper and ready to go. And it'd be a nice thing to honor Dick and his family, and for the longevity of Dick was here since 1975 to 2013. The equipment room is named after him. We named it the Dick Collins Equipment Room when we renovated it, and it was a good honor for everything he's done. He did a lot for all the UNK and Kearney State College programs over the years. So, and that's what we're doing.
Great.
Anybody else?
I do have one quick story that's kind of interesting. You never know where your volleyball will end up, because I'm sure a lot of you guys decorated your volleyballs, threw them out before each home game, and always kind of wondered where they might show up. My husband actually works with a guy who he mentioned, hey, my wife went to UNK volleyball camp long time ago and has this volleyball, and he brought it to work. And you'll never guess what years the signatures were from. 2005. And it was a small world because John was able to be like, that's my wife's signature right there.
Oh man. I have a few of those balls I've collected over the years. So, but like I said,
hey, Rich, they must have been deflections. I don't think anybody would have thrown you one.
Oh, come on. No, I've seen it. I mean, honestly, I've been the luckiest person in the world to see the greatest excitement what UNK volleyball has done for this university. I mean, every fall, the anticipation of, I mean, you got to think about it. The crowd sizes we get for Division II at UNK are amazing, and the fan participation, and that's because you guys performed a great product for the program, and it's always good to, it just feels good to have a great product that you can go day in, day out, know that you're going to compete, and you're going to have to see some great volleyball, and some great matches in the Health and Sports Center. Patty beating Hawaii Hilo in the regional in 1990. What was it, 1996, something like that, or I can't remember. But the 2005, we won the regional, then we host the Elite Eight, and we get runner up to Grand Valley State. And then 2 years ago, we beat the powerhouse Concordia St. Paul, the Bears in the house, right, Julianne? With the big block, yeah. And that was yep, put it up. And that was a big win. And I mean, just a lot of memories from year to year to year. And I bet you there'll be more down the road. And it's been a script I've enjoyed to announce over the years. A lot of great names. So I just want to keep it going. Let's do it. And we'll hopefully do more of these. Coach Squires will be in touch, and we'll help him. Let you guys know when have the alumni tournament. So you guys got to come back and play in the alumni tournament. So make sure you get work out in, and get ready to go. I'll even try to play, and I'll try to take a block off Aaron Arnold. Okay. See what happens.
I will pay to see that.
You want to put your sick time in now, Rich, or you want to wait till afterwards?
Well,
that's not hard to do.
I took some insurance policy out today, so we'll be okay.
Need Aflac.
I hear you. Hey, folks, I'm not going to delay it anymore, but you guys, it's great to see you all. I mean, really, really is. And hopefully we'll do more. Thank you, Mark. Thank you, Patty. Thank you, Rick, for being part of the program. Trish, thanks for the organization, Tony, Shauna, and crew. And all I can say to wrap it up is, go Lopers!
Bye, everyone.
Have a good one.
Thank you.
Right.